Well, another way to put it, which I learned from an epistemologist friend of mine, is learning is extending our presence into the world. When you think about an infant has to learn in order to become a person, or in order to grow and develop. And they extend themselves more and more and more into the world. And every time we learn, we are more in to the world. And so learning is very important because we embrace more of the world. We embrace what's in it. And so it is extending ourselves. We generally think of learning as incorporating something into us, but really we're taking ourselves and we're putting our tentacles out there into the world and embracing the world. And it goes both ways. We are learning lifelong. I don't think we stop learning. Lifelong learning is always with us. I think what you're referring to, and what Russell Sarder definitely refers to, is seeking, intentional learning. You know, and there are some people who seek more than others, and who sort of devour information. I used to, my goal in life when I was a little kid was to read the whole encyclopedia. I never got there. I was doing other things. But, you know, there is that hunger some of us have to keep learning and keep knowing. And I think having resources available for people to learn is essential. Yes, it's very important. I think it's stimulating. I tend to be an information junkie. I read nonfiction. I read numerous research articles every week. My joy is my research database, and I can find articles on almost everything, and I read them. But one of the things I have learned is that for every research article that says one thing, there's probably 5 more that says something different. So you can't take what you learn too seriously, but always know that there are other perspectives. So lifelong learning is important in that way too, is that we need to recognize that when we learn something, it is not necessarily the truth. It is only a truth. And that there are many truths in the world because there are many people with a different warehouse of emotional memories that lead them to their own truths, and they expose that. So there are all kinds of truths out there. It's fascinating. So
and philosophical.
Lifelong learning is important, yet it's important at the same time to know that there are a lot of ways to learn and a lot of different perspectives. An important thing I learned recently was how to ride a bike uphill, how to ride a mountain bike uphill. My older son gave me a mountain bike because he knew I wanted one. And it was a surprise. So I wanted to learn to ride it uphill, but I found that I was letting my emotion interfere with learning to ride that bike uphill, because I would put it in the right gears, but it was scary to me. It was panicky to me because I didn't think I could do it. And I found that I wasn't using my emotion as energy. So I took that anxiety and I said, wait a minute, this is energy. If I just relax into it and let this be my energy rather than my panic that I'm not going to make it, I can do it. And I did it. And it was such a thrill. So that was a thrill. Something I learned recently, just yesterday on the plane, was I was listening to a talk where the individual speaking said 61% of people don't get through their to-do list in a day. Now, when you hear facts like that, that's an example of a truth that somebody has. And we make all kinds of inferences, and we could walk away with that as a truth and say, well, we can make inferences. To-do lists don't work. In fact, to-do lists do work. And just because you don't get through your to-do list, why is that a bad thing? It can carry over into the next day. Not all items on a to-do list are critical. So what I learned from that is, once again, for every fact that's stated and inferences that are made, there are other perspectives.